All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a very special episode of Dash Attack's Old White Road, possibly the last one, at least on this platform. I'm Dash, and I'm here with our regulars, Digny, Xeene, Galaxy, Damien, Neku Boy, and our very lovely special guest, the one and only Siniviere.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Nice. Now, finally, someone who also has bouncy tits.
Well, there are three people on this panel with bouncy boobs. The one on the top left, the one on the mid right, and the one on the bottom.
I can, yes.
Yeah, look.
Well, that's a little different.
Neku can also take that shirt off, but he chooses not to because it's seen as too graphic. I don't know why.
I could too. I could take it off, but not. I save it for special occasions. Maybe if we get enough supers.
You guys weren't kidding when you said this was gay.
Yes. There's only two straight guys here. It's me and Galaxy.
Oh my.
Fuck you, Xeene. Fuck you.
Okay, yeah. We got one gay guy, one bi guy that leans straight, and one bi guy that leans gay and is married.
Wait, who's the other bi guy?
Me.
Oh my.
No, the one that's married. You're not married.
Neku.
Me.
Neku is the one.
Neku likes girls, but he didn't choose. He
Also,
didn't put a ring on one.
too.
I thought it was just fully homosexual.
You would think so.
Especially with the arty draws.
Look, all I'm thinking is, how did we get to 40 weeks? But it's great to see Slay. I hope you're doing well. I mean, the level of desperation required to take a show like this, right? The Old White Road started off as a parody of New Blackstreet, right? When New Blackstreet debuted all those years ago, I thought to myself, how can I tease Atreus just one more time? I'll just make my own version that's the complete opposite. Old, White, and Road. And, we gave it to Dash because I thought, why not? And here we are, 40 weeks later.
And what an amazing 40 weeks it really has been.
Mm-hmm. What else is here? I would catch up with the chat, but I can't see you guys. But it's great to see you all.
Oh, I could put the chat up here.
You can bring the chat up on the right side, didn't he?
Yeah, there's a button on the bottom right. You hit. There's this chat.
There we go.
See, look, it's kind of obscuring people's faces, so I'm gonna hide it. But yeah, we got people's comments.
It's great to see everyone.
Good to see Byron, St. Hugo, Cliff Bird, Ultra TRPGer, Jace. How's it going, man?
It's like Hollywood Squares.
Jonathan.
You got Brady Bunch.
You got Byron telling me to behave when I'm the most experienced person on this panel, right?
Sometimes.
Goal.
And since we're broadcasting on Rumble, we got Psycho Magus. Panel plus Rumble chat.
Because they're adding,
if you end up streaming, like retro on the second category retro, you get like average of 5 or 6 people just vomiting toxicity at you.
Oh, uncultured swine. Okay, welcome to the Old White Road, Cine. Be prepared for the chaos you're about to endure. Happy birthday, you're gay.
Hey, Ultra. How you doing, honey? That's a quote from my mother. The happy birthday, you're gay.
What is it? I don't know. I get the reference there. What does that mean?
Well, I was on another person's stream for his birthday, and Tony Down Under is his name. And my mom came in while I was streaming, and she goes, "Happy birthday, you're gay." And she's silly. I really love her.
Your mom sounds fun.
She is.
Okay. That's funny though.
All right.
Glad I wasn't there. Your mother would get a shouting at. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's catch up with the panel now that we've caught up with the chat. And thank you again for the donation. Like the stream, share the stream. Donations are always welcome, whether it's on YouTube or on Rumble. We appreciate everyone. We're going to start off with the official host. Dash, how have you been?
I've been good. Just getting ready for the 4th of July weekend here in the States. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy X. Was playing for about 5 hours yesterday. Getting through that mountain area was really, really rough, but I think we should be very close towards the game's climax. I don't know how much other side content there is. This is the farthest I've ever gotten in the game. So I'm looking forward to it because honestly, I'm really enjoying 10.
Good. And folks, I highly recommend that you guys check out Final Fantasy. You can play 20 games and not know what the hell's going on. And then you can play 20 remakes of the 20 games and not know what's going on. But thank you for that, Dash. Just remember, folks, the average age of a Square Enix player is 42. Xeene, how have you been?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Some Rumble issues. We all know those Rumble issues for the creator program, but other than that, it's pretty good. I stream a lot of RPGs, JRPGs. Like, I'm continuing my Trails series. Was it 8 games into 13?
Damn. 13 games in a row, man. That's crazy.
Commitment.
Right.
I mean, well, if I count the remake of Trails in the Sky, that'd be 14, but...
Great, even more. Just remake them all and you'll have 26. Can we just have 3 games and then a new franchise, please? Just keep it simple, right?
No, we got to remake everything.
No, the Trails series is a long, connected game that it actually has a consistent story throughout all the games. They're all connected, so it's not like Final Fantasy where they're literally almost disconnected from each other most of the time.
Yep, same for the East games too. They're also Falcom games. They got
shout out Big U.
Even though it's not like technically connected, but they're all like in the same universe. So they all.
Yes, the games for Ys are just the diary entries of Adol Kristen.
Great to see Pigoo Boy. I hope you're doing well. Go and check out Pigoo Boy. Great guy. His abbreviated name is not safe for YouTube, so I can't say it, but it is fun.
Wait, what's the abbreviated name?
I'm not telling you. I mean, I can't because of this.
Show games that I just play that I'm not going to be playing on Saturdays like I usually do. So, but that is, since I know I'm not going to be in the program next for after July because of what they're doing, I'm going to be like probably be changing that to it will still be a Rumble stream, but it'll be a Rumble exclusive stream, but not premium. So that way, if people get to come to Rumble to watch and everything, so yeah, that's it.
It's such a shame, man. Folks like Galaxy, folks like Xeene, folks like Maverick, and who else? A few others as well. Slay got screwed over by Rumble before being in the creative program. But it is a shame that this has happened. And look, there's a reason I did a great big rant about it on Wednesday, and it drew up a lot of attention and a lot of focus, and a little bit of backlash as well. But it was well received. Because when you jump up the requirements that much, of course it's going to annoy a lot of people, right? And it just proves, like I said, right, that it seems to be a solid pyramid they're trying to build. And like all pyramids, you pleasure the top of it before you pleasure the bottom of it. That's how it works. But speaking of pleasuring, Double D, why are you a Double D?
I don't know why I'm a Double D.
Well, you like
you
Double
disabled the camera. That's what.
But the camera just randomly disabled. That's weird.
Good.
Well, hopefully you can get it fixed.
Fingers crossed.
I'll certainly try.
See, look, professional show, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we're stuck in the sewer while this lady beneath me has sawn. No, not even sawn. flew. Let's just use a flying term. Flew into the sky. Siniviere, how you doing?
Well, I mean, until the mother comment, I was doing good.
Good.
Yeah,
Very
Digny
good.
likes to antagonize everyone on the panel. So
Yep. It's just years.
Oh, surely you don't want to antagonize me. I promise. You're going to piss me off. You mentioned my mother again.
Yeah, Digny has a bad habit of going for people's mothers.
He doesn't go for my mother.
Well, that's because she's horrible.
Yeah, like even you don't like her.
That's why I like Jace's mother so much, because she's an awful, awful human being. But thank you for being here, Siniviere. It's nice to have you here. It's been a while, but it's nice to see you again. Neku, how have you been?
Pretty good. I'm enjoying the new Star Fox game. I got medals on half the planets already, and also preparing some music for the summer.
Nice.
Good. Any gigs planned?
Let me think. Probably not till the end of the year, so I got a break.
Yeah. Do they usually do well in the summer, or are you mostly a winter guy?
It just kind of depends, because there's like different places, whether it's conventions or I know what you call them, like promoter companies in the area. Because like the latter, they go with like the pool of people they have. So, and with like 40 DJs, it's become a little more competitive.
Damn, man. You know, let me tell you a secret. Do you know how you compete in this day and age, right? Damien can tell you this. It's not what you know, it's who you know in the space.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's
connections.
in content creation, gaming, I mean, your industry, right? Find the promoter, find the promoter who's single, and you know what to do. Okay? Remember, it's business, not pleasure. Business. So
Can't you mix the two?
no, don't do that, Damien. That's why you got into trouble in South Africa. But hopefully it all goes well for you, Neku, and you get plenty of gigs, not just this year, but in next year and beyond. Okay?
Thank you.
So how about you, Slay? How have you been?
Well, it's interesting to hear that there is a series completionist, retro gamers, and a DJ all on the panel at once with me, because I just finished on my channel playing through the entire series of Dead or Alive. On Thursday, I started DJ Hero on my rhythm gaming stream, and today I was playing some retro games where we celebrate America by just running around and blowing shit up and having nothing but fun.
Damn, man. You're living the American dream. Having fun and blowing shit up. Speaking of the American dream, happy 4th of July. I know it's a little early, but happy 4th of July. And hopefully you guys have a great holiday tomorrow. 250.
Yeah.
If a person lived that long, that would be well, that's never happened before.
They vote Democrat?
Yes. Yes, they would. I can only hope you guys last another 250 years. But I'm going to tell you this right here, right now. One group that wants to make sure that never happens are the Sony ponies, right? If they want to get rid of your media, and if they get rid of your physical media in its entirety, well, then you don't need a physical house. You can live in a digital house, right?
Or digital food, like a beef and chicken.
Yes, and it's made in China. But Dash, why don't you lay the groundwork for our first topic?
Yes. So I'm gonna share some memes first.
Oh, not always on here. That's weird.
Well, I disappeared.
Oh,
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, we got some. Let's see if we can get everyone back on.
Hey, good. No,
There we go.
let's
There we go.
see.
That'll work.
Oh yeah, there we go. There we go.
Might have to zoom
Ta-da.
in more on the.
Yeah, I'm not as experienced with this as I am, but we can get more people on the panel, and I am paying for it, so it's. But yeah, you see, Sony, well, we've all heard the news. Like they say, not only are they shutting down the PS3 store, which only affects me because I just bought a PS3 because their first-party games were sucking so bad. I didn't want to pay their subscription. One also wanting to play Ratchet and Clank, but they're also killing physical in general.
Yeah.
So I did save the one digital remaster of Ratchet and Clank 4 that was stuck on the PS3. I did save it. It's now on the PS3 hard drive. I see if I have to save anything else, but the only bad thing is I have to give Sony money in order to do that. So yeah, but I especially have been very, very pissed about this news. It's very disappointing because I was building a PS5 collection. As a PS5 owner, I own like multiple systems, including a high-end PC. And, I still like physical, like, called me old fashioned, but it's what I like to do.
I don't want to be this guy, folks, but I'm going to in this instance, right? Especially with the PS5 and the Xbox Series. It's hard to build a collection, a physical collection, when most, not all, but most of the games on those systems, the discs are essentially key cards to connect to the internet, download, that sort of thing. Remember when the Xbox One got trashed for that model, but then it got normalized 7-8 years later? This is the thing. They always test concepts out, knowing there'll be a massive backlash. And then in 5 to 10 years' time, they do it again, and people are used to it because it's a far more different landscape, in a sense. So thankfully, there's a backlash to this.
Yeah,
Steam sort of helped with that because I remember first time getting Skyrim, put the CD into the computer, Steam booted up. I'm like, wait, and that was the time I did not like Steam whatsoever. I'm like, what? And realizing the game wasn't on the disc, I had to download it from Steam.
I know the dangerous aspect of this is that we don't trust PlayStation. We don't trust Xbox. I don't even trust Nintendo. Far more people trust Steam because of their track record. A lot more people trust GOG, although it's much more of a niche market. And the backlash we're seeing here, I think, is largely due to the fact that Sony as a company is infamous for getting its digital media wrong. It's not their strong suit, as you can see from that picture. They leaned into their strength. What was their strength? Physical gaming, console gaming. They were so effective at it, they decimated all of their competition and pushed them into various niches where Nintendo had to create their hybrid system, which was perfected with the Switch 2, while Xbox had to be pushed into becoming the Netflix of gaming through the Game Pass system. And now Sony is deciding to give up the very thing through PlayStation that made it the best of the best in console gaming, the physical aspect of disc-based media. The same thing they pioneered with the original PlayStation. It's ridiculous, man. But let's get some first impressions, and we'll start off from the top and work our way down, as you should in all aspects of life. Dash, you recommended the topic. What's your first impressions?
Well, I've been all over this since the announcement got made. Like I said, they also announced the PlayStation Store shutting down, but they at least gave people in America at least time to download their shit. If you lived in Mexico, I hear that shit's they've already shut it down. Oh, sorry, no time, rug pull. Yeah, so progressive, but yeah, this is going to kill physical entirely if PlayStation goes. Nintendo wants to go in this direction with the game key cards. They would, and lowering the price of digital games. They're trying to condition people. These companies have been trying to condition people to this, but us physical buyers, we've resisted, and so the market continued. But now they're trying a power play because they felt emboldened by GTA, and Yeah, and the pre-orders, but the fact is, it's fucking GTA. It was going to sell even if the case came in like a paper bag.
Well, it doesn't take much to bridge GTA with JDA in terms of behavior and mindset. But Xeene, I know you referenced your first impressions a few minutes ago, but it's always nice to have a nice refresh.
Yeah, basically, I'd rather have the physical media because I'm like, there's many games that I have multiple copies. I just copied the game to another disc. Like, I have like 4 copies of Age of Empires 2. Just because I had LAN games, and it's like, how am I gonna? Because of the key code, if you try to do the same key code, it basically would lock up the game. So made different copies, got different key codes. Funny enough, actually, old key code was 11111. It was the dev key code, so I found that out.
Oh damn!
Yeah, just type in all ones, and it's a dev key code, so you can do it multiple times. So
that was the passwords the North Koreans used to break through the Sony systems. Remember that? They didn't hack into that system. They just got the password. Okay?
Yeah, no one's gonna really trust Sony's because all, like you mentioned there, Digny, is all the times Sony has been hacked.
Yep.
I'm like, they have the worst security.
It's a trust-based system. That's the difference between Sony and Steam. It's a trust-based system. But thank you, Xeene. Siniviere, first impressions on this situation.
I really honestly think that digital was going to be a natural evolution anyway, because companies in the end are only ever going to think about themselves. So, they're jealous of Steam, they're jealous of PC sales. They can't keep up. It's why they have to basically come up with a console every other year to just kind of stay ahead of the game. And they don't like that physical media does have value, because then they're losing money and they don't like that. So this is just, and mind you, I'm not a console player. I'm purely PC Master Race. And
I am too.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, really, they're learning a very valuable lesson that I don't think they'll take to heart. In that, 1, people don't want live service games, and then 2, people really don't like not only the message that they've been shoving down our throats, but also the fact that we just don't want. We don't. If we're going to have to go through a route where we have lack of physical media, we may as well get it on the PC.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, bring discs back on PC.
I completely agree.
If we need to get on somewhere where we can play it again over and over, and it's like, yeah.
Well, let's look at the numbers, right? If 85% of PlayStation's user base is digital, by definition, that means 15% rather is physical. And since the PS5 got 90 million console sales, how I do not know, 15% of 19 million, that's about 13 million players play physical media. That's more than enough of a user base for a new kid on the block to release physical games, just be a third-party game developer, right?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be one thing if they would stop producing physical games for all their woke crap games nobody wants to buy anymore, like Saros. Man, what a rug pull that was. But no, they're turning it off. So even if you're a company that wants to put your game on a physical disc, you can't, because they're not going to make it.
I mean, all it takes is a few of these big name companies: EA, Capcom, not Ubisoft, Tencent's Ubisoft. Square Enix. I mean, all these various companies, right, could make it very clear. It may be a minority of our sales, but we can't take a loss of 10 to 15%, right? Because that's how much these companies stand to lose if they go entirely digital. It's a fact. And that's why, although physical games, just like physical media as a whole, are on the decline, let it decline naturally. I think what customers want is the option, right? A free market is supposed to provide freedom of choice by definition. That means options, whether it's physical options or digital options. The options are always there, and it's up for the people to decide. This is being done arbitrarily. This isn't being done because these companies are losing money hand over fist. This is being done to skew the free market so that you only have a digital choice. But how about you, Neku? What do you make of this as a DJ? You don't want no clanker being an AI DJ, do you? A digital DJ? You'd be out of a job.
Well, as most people respond to gaming news the past year, I got a backlog.
Ooh.
But yeah, I mean, this has also been a great advertisement for GOG. They've been seeing a lot more customers because they realize, wait, I don't actually own my games. So over there, they get the ISO file so they can burn it onto a disk.
Remember when disc burning was not just a thing, but the thing?
Yes.
The craze? I think it was either in the late 90s or in the early 2000s, around that period of time. It was when I was born, folks, because I'm still under 30. I know I don't look it, but come on, guys, I still got some life left in me.
I have like one of the last laptops that still has a disk drive. I'm so happy I got it.
Oh, I think the main difference between PC going digital first before consoles was the fact that the PC ecosystem trusts its systems far more than the console base. Plus the advantages of consoles having a physical element, ease of access, ease of use, that sort of thing. And without trust, you can't make monumental changes like this. You can't. Hence the backlash. But how about you, Slay? What do you make of all this?
Well, not only as a gamer, but as a collector, the whole idea of this hits me really hard because this goes back like long time. Even before middle school, I was like that weird little kid that was collecting Beatles and Led Zeppelin vinyls that I was buying off of eBay when eBay first popped up. And as much as I loved the affordability and the ability to just easily grow my library with Steam, it's not the same to me as going over to my shelf over here and seeing my physical collection of PS3 games and PS4 games and PS2 games, not to mention my old Sega games that I've had since I was a little kid and still held on to them because, like I mentioned, I'm a collector and that's the kind of thing that I just do.
Yeah, and you should have every right to do that within a free market. That's why I'm, economically speaking, folks, I'm very critical of the existing system because there's no level playing field. We're not a land of opportunity. We're a land of connections where I could have more talent than my competitor, but my competitor has all the connections to various outlets and various personalities and various individuals, as I referenced with Neku in terms of his DJ career. You want to do well in this industry, Neku, right? You want to be a DJ? The DJ's got to be in you. It's the same old story. What we need is a level playing field, and that means options for all users. But thank you, Slay. How about you, Galaxy? What do you make of all this?
Well, a couple things. Someone in the chat, in the YouTube chat earlier, they said they had a question about this and said, why should they care when most people are just fine with digital-only world, including developers? Mm-hmm. And I was like, it was like it reduces the cost. I'm like, how are they reducing the cost when the games are still going to be $80 or $100 or whatever? So it's like it's not reducing anything. So I mean, it's just
like people like not only will you not be able to carry your backlog with the PS6, but like like the games aren't going to get any cheaper. They're going to get even more expensive
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. So
because they're reducing the costs there of getting rid of physical, but they're going to increase the cost of literally everything else
yeah, and I'm like, but the games are not going to be cheaper, so I mean, they're going to be the same price.
That's the whole point. They're
I heard a rumor that they're already talking about like upping the charge just with all these mass cancellations of like PS Plus. Like, they're already talking about jacking up the price after they already jacked it up.
Good.
Well,
people will leave.
Well, let's let Galaxy finish his statement. Go ahead, Galaxy.
Yeah. Y'all were talking about earlier about the Nintendo thing with the game cards. I think, well, this is my opinion on it, that even though it is there and they do have the game key card thing for games on Nintendo, from what we've seen, the first party games have not really done that. I mean, there's like one, like Pokefia, which is not really, technically it wasn't really made by a first party developer because it was Megaforce that worked on it. So that's a third party developer. So I think, but the other games have been all for first party have all been on the card.
Mm-hmm.
So all I've seen is that third party developers have been using that to actually do the games that way on the car, where they just have as a game key card where you have to download it and all that stuff on it.
Well, Galaxy, I'll just make one point. There will be a reckoning by the time the PS6 and the Xbox Helix releases, which is going to be sometime in 2028, judging by when physical games are going to be phased out by Sony. So therefore, that reckoning will essentially be: I'm not spending $1,000 on this system when I can go somewhere else, or I can buy for $1,000, folks. You can buy a lot of stuff: PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1. Imagine it, guys. You buy the PS1 through the PS4 and get big libraries for each on the secondhand market for the same cost as a PS6. And it's always nice to hear family members in the background. I wonder who they are. But thank you for that, Galaxy. Cine and Xeene have to go in the hour mark, so that's why I'm rushing a little bit. Damien.
No, wait, I thought Xeene doesn't have to go anywhere. Are you streaming, Xeene?
I'm still streaming. It's just at 5 instead of 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not an hour mark then. It's more.
Yeah, it's Neku and Cine that have to go in the hour.
Look, you all look the same to me. It's like a Chinese sweatshop in here. But go ahead, Damien.
Yes, sorry. My aunt just came into my room to speak to me about something. Regarding the whole situation, I'm not really surprised by it because it has been a decade-long attempt by Sony, Microsoft, etc., to try and just go purely physical with their consoles. And the thing is now is at this point, Sony is effectively using GTA 6 as the final nail in the coffin for that, because the issue at the end of the day is that a lot of the egregious practices that are happening right now with PlayStation and GTA 6, etc., that's being completely defended by almost the majority of gamers. Like, they don't take an issue with it. So, as Xeene was saying earlier, it's like this sort of thing happens through trust, but it also happens through complacency. Because are you really gonna take an issue with the fact you can't get a physical copy just because you'll be inconvenienced in the future if they decide to take that game away from you?
It's a great point. And that's why I think that's why there must always be a space for the physical aspect, especially in Sony's case, because their track record in the digital realm has not been great, whether it's in terms of games or in terms of, movie media libraries, right? In which they've taken movies off of their storefront, which means the movies you bought, well, they're not yours anymore because we took them off. You didn't purchase a movie, you bought a license. You got a license? You got a license to watch that movie, eh, mate? Huh?
Oh, just to add on to that, even with the trust that Steam has with everyone, the largest issue there is at the end of the day, that they will remove games from their platform. Like you'll still have the game in your library, but those games will no longer be on the storefront. And what will stop Steam from eventually saying one day, you know what? Now we will remove the game from your library.
A regime change, which is going to happen. It's just a matter of when, not if. I mean, look at Nintendo's recent regime change for a taste of that.
No, not even that. It's like the fact that it's already started at Steam due to the fact that, for example, you have they'll take certain porn games off their site.
Yep.
That's a great example.
And I remember last year, Americans got an awakening. I think on the East Coast, there were these really bad storms which took out the internet for a few days. And so a lot of people went to Walmart and bought up all the bargain DVDs. For the first time, those giant bins were empty.
And just goes to show that circumstance can make the moment as much as people in that instance, right? There's a natural disaster, the internet goes off, and then you're done for. I can tell you for a fact, folks, you'll never get physical media renditions of Dash Attack's Old White Road. Because, let's face facts, guys, even if I take all of these downloads, burn them into discs, and then deliver them to you, the costs will be exorbitant, right? And who would want to watch an 80-hour box set of this show, right? I'd be driven mad.
Patrick makes a great point about Mod Retro because they legally recreated the Game Boy and are actually releasing new games. Like, and they're working on their own version of the N64, which will have HDMI support. And I recently found a bunch of my father found a bunch of my old N64 games. I think we're only missing one. There's like only one game that's missing, but like almost all of it is there. Like my whole collection from childhood.
Well, that's what we got to do, guys. We got to, whether we like it or not, we got to swim against the tide. We always have. We're creators in a space which highlights the problem, finds the solutions, and be the change we want to see in the pop culture space. When haven't we swam against the tide? I don't think things have gotten better over the past 5 years. I think they've gotten continuously worse because for all of our efforts, and boy, have we thrown everything we've had at this, right? It takes a lot of time, effort, and money to be the change you want to see to make pop culture great again.
Which is why I hate defeatist attitudes. Like, I didn't watch the whole video, but Fake Wizard made a video saying, like, the left or wokeness won. Like, I don't buy that crap.
Yeah, I saw Leon reacting to that video. I completely disagree with Wizards completely black-pilled. And, like, you keep fighting for what you love. And you know what? Because... they're always going to tell you to stop fighting. They're always going to tell you to just give up and just accept things as they are. And no, I'm going to say I want better.
And a good example that he's wrong is that movie Citizen Vigilante. It's been so popular despite people trying to suppress it.
Understand.
I would like to add that our lovely overlords are responsible for Citizen Vigilante.
Understand. Yes, I know. BB made the film to divide us from the towel heads. I know, Damien. I also know that the best way to understand a creator is to understand their origins. In Wizard's case, in advertising and corporate management. He understands how our opposition operates uniquely because he comes from a world of advertising and corporate management. Right? He's a salesman. He's a wizard, right?
Dig me. Also, sorry.
Go ahead, Slay.
I was going to say, a thought just popped into my mind because someone mentioned division, and I was thinking, and you mentioned corporations. We had so many people on our side, finally banded together against these corporations. Who's to say that they're not doing things like this in order to, as a psyop to divide us?
Well, that's
now that we are a united front. So now our united front is turning into, I'm all right with digital only, or I want to stay with physical only, and it's causing
Slay-
little arguments.
Slay makes a good point, folks. From my experience, because I've been doing this for nearly 5 years now, right? I've been on the outside looking in. I've been on the inside looking out. Now, right here, right now, I'm on the outside looking in again. I can tell you for a fact that the greatest coalitions, especially in our space, are built from shared animosity far more often than common interest, right? That's my own personal lived experience, you can say, right? So that's why highlighting the problem, as we're doing right here, is a great foundation point. Such as on Wednesday when we covered the Rumble topic, the amount of Rumble creators we've able to gather together out of shared animosity for the changes to the creator program have been crazy, right? The level of support we've got, right? I call it the coalition of hateful bastards because that's what keeps us all together, right? So in this case, Wizard has every right to showcase his point of view from his own lived experience in where he came from. And it has resonated with people. No one can deny that. That's why he's gone from nowhere to everywhere in the past 2 years. But that's why it's very important for us to have a level playing field so that we can have the options. There's an option where you can say, it's not effective to swim against the tide. And you have another option that says, let's rage against the machine and throw everything we've got at this.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why we call it the free market. But unfortunately, especially on YouTube, and this is what I'm afraid of with Rumble, on YouTube, it's not a level playing field, right? Raging against the machine doesn't earn you friends in this space. It earns you contempt. It earns you enemies, right? Especially if you do it in a certain kind of way. So we have to balance things out and do our best to appeal to as many people as possible. But that's why I do what I do, right? Because it's planting seeds for future generations to keep the effort going. But on that note, folks, right, because we don't have a lot of time for Cine and Neku, why don't we move on to our next topic, Dash, so we can give these two fine creators some time to talk
All right.
about it.
Let's we are going to talk about the Kids Online Safety Act, which is making its way through Congress right now.
COSA. Sounds like something I would eat and then throw up immediately. But the Kids Online Safety Act, folks. What's the difference between the OSA and the COSA? Well, COSA's okay
Nothing.
for Americans.
They're both just a power grab to just control the internet.
Of course.
Most likely, not the most likely, it's a guarantee the fact that how basically a Trump got into office was really power of the internet, and they want to shut that off. They don't want another
Trump supporting the bill.
Exactly.
Trump
which is the innate contradiction of the situation. Let's face facts, folks. In politics, in Hollywood, in content creation, they don't want mavericks. You don't want a maverick in Hollywood because they turn out like Mel Gibson. You don't want a maverick in politics because you get a Donald Trump. First term Donald Trump, not a second term one. And you don't want mavericks in content creation because you get me or the literal creator called Maverick. Okay? Because although we try our best to stay true to what we believe in, we kind of paint our communities in a bad light, right? We're not exactly winning the propaganda war if I was the face of pop culture content creation, as we saw a few years ago with a certain pointy object, right? But this is the sort of stuff we have to oppose, because I'll tell you what COSA means. COSA will mean that I will know the names of every single person on this panel. And once I find out a name, I can find out where you live, where you work, what you do, the works. Because in order for children to be so-called protected online is for a central authority to identify every single internet user, which requires a form of internet ID. And if I am part of that central authority, if I work in the bureaucracy, I'll be able to find out who Dash is, who Xeene is, who Cine is, Neku, Galaxy, Slay, and Damien. And if they say problematic things, right, that I don't like, I'll just call up their employer. I'll call up their family members. I'll call up their, their contacts and be like, this guy has said and done these problematic things. Why do you work with such an awful person? And then in the weeks and months ahead, they'll nail you to the mast. That's the danger of not just the COSA, but the UK Online Safety Act. It's the same premise. The central authority want to know actively who the centers of resistance are to isolate them, condemn them, and ultimately destroy them. But let's get some. Do you want first impressions first, Dash, or do you want me to read this? Dash, you alive?
Yes. Calling Das.
You alive? No?
He must be
Might go
AFK.
Well, he can't be AFK. He was
No,
messing.
it's all right. It's all right. That's why I'm here, so I can drive the truck.
Yeah, the shadow host of OWR Road.
Well, that's one way of putting it, Xeene. Thank you. The crazy thing about this is that I can't read that. My eyesight's that shot. So can someone...
Hey, am I back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're back.
Okay, so I was saying we could put it up to a vote, or like just why don't we just give everyone's opinion first, then get into...
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Let's start off with Dash.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about this, especially the bipartisan nature, because like after everything that happened in 2020, why the fuck would anyone like in the center or right like support a fucking bill like this? It's ridiculous. Like, and especially everything that's going on in the UK, everything that's going on in the UK and other countries, it's insane.
Mm-hmm. Or China.
Oh,
that's the worst.
I should have prefaced this before we started this topic. Maybe we should get Cine and Neku's view first
yes.
while they're still here.
Yes.
Go ahead, Cine. Cine, what do you make of all this?
I mean, it's definitely a gross overstep in, governments, the government itself. Like, they have zero right to that. It's a huge, huge invasion of privacy. We already have an issue with companies selling our information, and now, and not only that, but also hacking. Like the UK government went how long before the hackers themselves had to let the UK government know that they were in fact hacked. What happens when we get hit with that? They're going to hide that kind of information. So it's definitely unnecessary. Really, parents just need to parent their children. Like, it's just that simple.
Yes.
And
yes.
I've seen that there is a company that already developed a phone that can do everything that a normal phone can do except access social media. So you can't lie to me and say that this is absolutely necessary when there are means to already circumvent the problem.
Well, thank you for that, Cine. Damien, are you typing?
No, it's Dash.
Is it Dash?
Literally, I had myself muted. How am I?
I was just commenting with having a side conversation with Jace.
That's all right. That's all right. But I like blaming people, and they're the wrong people, Cine. It's me to a T. But how about you, Neku? What do you make of this? What do you make of COSA?
Well, first thing I have to say is this is why, like, libertarians or classical liberals, whatever title you pick, this is why they're very cautious about giving the government power, because even if your side has the power and does good with it, the other side can use it for their own gain and infringe on people's rights. And that's, as we've, of course, already seen in the UK and even in Russia now, like, that's going to come here if we don't stop it.
Hmm? It's a big problem, folks. It's a big problem because it's like Mortal Kombat when Shao Kahn tried to merge the realms, Earth Realm and Outworld. You're seeing that right now. They're trying to merge the physical and digital world. And this is one of the consequences of it, right? They want to, the governments all around the world want to judge you to the same standards offline as you would be online, right? Same standards, right? So Siniviere, under this scenario, Siniviere can't exist anymore. She has to be her off-world. You have a Mars address, Cine, but she has to be her offline variation, right? Same with Neku, same with Slay, same with me, same with everyone here, right? Because we've merged the realms. So who you are offline is who you are online. You don't have a choice. It's for the children.
I'd like to add a little bit to that.
Go on.
Because back in the early internet, 90s, 2000s, that's exactly how it was. The internet was an escape from reality, and ever since the 2010s, it's just been a merging of both, so you can't really escape from either now.
And that's the terrifying thing that everyone needs to understand. This legislation, whether it's in the US, the UK, Russia, China, India, it all has one common denominator. The authorities all around the world want to know exactly what people are saying all the time. It's as simple as that, right? So that if you're effective in convincing large groups of people about something that authorities want, but you don't want, then they can isolate you, condemn you, and destroy you. I'm not talking about the big names in our space. The authorities will deal with them last, right? It's like a pyramid. You don't destroy the top of the pyramid to get rid of the pyramid, right? You destroy either the bottom or the middle. And when it comes to YouTube, they usually get rid of the middle because they can't get rid of the bottom. Say they get rid of someone like Slay or Damien or Galaxy or Xeene or Dash, and use Dash as an example as well, right? Doesn't really set an example, does it? Right? Because we're largely unknown in the grand scheme of things. But if you get into the middle, if you get into the many thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, right? I don't want to use Siniviere specifically as an example. Let's use someone bigger. Will of the Fans or Leon Paradise.
I was going to say, like, how about like Leaflet or something?
Right?
Leaflet or Kirsha, one of them.
I think that's
Leaflet.
I think that's a bit too high, Galaxy, because if you set an example of a creator too prominent, it creates a backlash that cannot be stopped, right? That's why they target the middle.
Yeah.
Well, the middle or the small.
But why would Kirsha and Leaflet be, exempt from this when it applies to everyone?
Oh, exactly. And that's the danger, right? They'll get rid of the most radical first. We've already seen examples of this even without this legislation. But they'll get rid of the people who are most radical, then the people with the most potential, then the people who are most effective, right? Because the big names in our space are effective largely because of their way of doing things. But a key part of why they're also effective is the amount of people they can rally to their standard. Now, if you get rid of those people first, then you can target the prominent creators without too much of an issue. That's why legislation like this is dangerous, especially if you rip off their cartoon mask. This legislation will literally do that to everyone here, right? Because we'll know who you are. We know who you are, Dash. We know who you are, Cine. We know who you are, Galaxy. That's why Xeene is escaping. He's like, oh, fuck this. I got to oppose this right now.
I just think you go AFK.
That's all right. But, yeah, this is terrifying. This is terrifying legislation. But, Dash, why don't you give your first impressions again?
All right. Yeah, I'll give it again. Yeah, it just seems like a massive power grab. And the fact that it has quote unquote bipartisan support, and there isn't really like any like, all these people, these politicians that like normally talk about like, like whenever like something like this happens, normally like it's all over Fox News, it's all over like the webs, like, and here it's not. And this is being quietly done under the rug.
And that's why it's very important to highlight the problem, find solutions, and be the change you want to see.
And look, like, like they proved that it's not organic. Like this is something they said this is supposed to hold tech companies accountable. You have most of the tech companies backing the bill.
Yep. because they want to know who their customers are as well.
Well, I mean, we already know because of Discord wanted to do ID and stuff too. So that's basically
Great
what the
example.
same thing.
Oh,
Great example.
Just to add this, the initial version of the bill would hold the platforms accountable for what was produced on them. The bill got updated to protect big tech companies. So it's not about
Of
really
course.
kids.
Of course, because let's face it, folks, the institutions of government and the institutions of corporations are ganging up together against the institution that is the people. That is textbook fascism, right? Textbook. It's how it works.
Yep. By definition, definitely the merging of government and the private sector is fascism.
Where you look at communism, for example, it's the government as an institution smashing the institution of corporations and oppressing the institution that is the people, right? We're not entering that system yet, who knows, but that's why we don't have a level playing field. That's why we don't have a free market. We have a corpo-fascist market, right? Where it's a big club and you ain't in it. But Galaxy made a great point in regards to Discord, so the ball's in your court, Galaxy. What do you make of all this?
Yeah, well, I mean, as you guys have already been talking about, the whole thing about this act is pretty much just the same as like the British one too, like in Europe and everything, and then we know like I said, Discord's already were trying to like do the ID thing. There's other places that were doing the ID thing. Well, not really like an ID thing, but before there was Gilded, which was actually not really a it wasn't doing the ID, but they tried to like merge it with Roblox and all that stuff, and they basically like told people like you have to get a Roblox account or whatever. That's basically similar, I think, to me, but because it's just Anyway,
Oh, you mean the child predator game?
I guess you could call it that if you want. Yeah, they like did that, and like a lot of people just left the platform, and I think it's still, I don't know if it's still even around anymore now. So, but
not to my knowledge, but hey, something can still keep on going, but if it's not relevant in the zeitgeist, then what's the point? But thank you for that, Galaxy. Got a minute to go until the hour mark, so we might as well create a space for Neku and Cine to tell us their future plans. So let's start off with Neku. Take it away.
Yeah, like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I'm gonna put out some music from a project I did a couple years ago called Cats Love Water. It's a comic by a furry artist named Peridian. So yeah, the soundtrack of that should be on Spotify this summer.
Excellent. Well, best of luck to you on your DJ journey. And remember what I said earlier. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Do it for the business, not for the pleasure. So how about you, Cine? What are your future plans?
Oh, well, I'll be on Neon Leon tonight over on Words of Paradise's channel. And then on Sunday, I'll be hopefully be streaming on Twitch, Expedition 33.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show, Cine. Hopefully you get plenty of rest for your next stream, and best of luck to you on your creator journey.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate it. And it was a pleasure, gentlemen. I hope you guys have a lovely day.
You too.
Likewise.
Have a good nap.
Happy 4th of July.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Happy
4th. July.
Thank you. Happy 4th, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bye for
Well,
now.
you guys celebrate
Bye.
safely, okay?
Yep.
Bye.
Okay, folks. Now watch as our viewership nosedives. But Damien, Damien, you had a few interesting points in regards to this topic. So the ball's in your court.
Yeah, no, like the thing is, ultimately for me, when it comes to all of this, is that I'm not surprised by the existence of this bill. Yeah, I'm sorry, my aunt just knocked on my door.
That's all right.
but
That's all right. Look,
But
I wish a
basically,
woman knocked on my door, but if you need to, look, if you need to,
all of
if
these
you-
women,
no, don't worry about it. Right? I wish I had a female family, not
Oh,
for
no.
that reason.
the thing is,
but
they're all drunk right now, so it's a bit annoying. So you
dear.
so you could have your way with him if you want to, Digby.
No. Do they look like Jace's mother?
I don't know. I haven't seen his mother.
Ah, she looks terrible. But do go on, Damien, if it's all right.
So the thing is, with bowls like this, I've seen them fairly often. The reason why it's like you have like companies on this and whatever else, it's that what happens more often than not is that lobby groups are drafting these sort of bills, and then they approach companies asking them, "Is this too vague? Is this something you can do, etc., because they want to go with the most likeliest of outcomes, which is the bill gets passed. So they'll keep redefining and narrowing and broadening the scope at here and there. Because the thing is this, it's like at this point the bill is still a draft. It hasn't hit the floor yet, as far as I'm aware. So the likelihood of it getting passed, not there. But the fact that you have these constant pushes from lobby groups, corporations, activist groups, etc., constantly wanting to implement the exact same bill again and again and again and again, it means that this is something they do want to do. And the fact is that you had in the UK a situation where it's like, okay, guys, we're going to put up the digital ID to a vote. There was a vote. The government went, you know what? Well, we don't give a fuck about your vote, and decided to still implement it. And then when you read the actual contents of the bill, the UK government, effectively basically says that, well, listen to this. We don't want minors and such to have access to any information on immigration and whatever else. So it's like this sort of thing isn't really a surprise. They will constantly do this sort of thing because, especially now recently with all of the anti-Semitism, the reason why it's bipartisan is because of that specific reason.
Because of the fact that, and I've talked about this in the past, politics is a circle, and the part of the circle we all know is the uniparty, and the other part of the circle, which barely anyone knows, is the anti-uniparty. And we can get into that, not here, but in future shows, especially on Wednesdays. But I'll tell you this for a fact. There's a reason this uniparty is on the same team in regards to this legislation and other legislations, because there is a force forming in the middle of the horseshoe. Anyone here know about horseshoe theory? There is a force forming in between the horseshoe that terrifies the existing system. And that the same is true in pop culture too, right? Because it's a circle. That's why we keep going round and round and round, folks. But thank you for that, Damien. How about you, Slay? What do you make of Kosa?
So, as it was, even before all of this, it was easy enough for people, if they, are either autistic enough or vindictive enough, to track you down. Because, like I mentioned before, when I was just a normal person talking shit about this kind of stuff on Facebook and Instagram, some psycho leftist tried to have me swatted. So as the lore goes, they succeeded, and I have come back as a skeleton to make the left's life a living hell now. And if this whole thing ends up killing me again, I will just find a way to resurrect myself in another form offline and continue making the left's life a living hell.
Yep. Yeah, sheer bitterness and resentment and hatred drives you, Slay. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why we like each other so much. And that's what it's going to take, folks. I mean, to quote 1984, why is hate less vital than love? All right? Why should hate be a crime? Why should love be a crime? You can make the same argument, okay, across both ends. We shouldn't make emotions a criminal act, especially when they drive us, okay?
Yeah. You're making me think Star Wars now with that, the whole the Jedi making emotions essentially a crime, and that causing Anakin Skywalker to fucking snap.
Yeah. When you talk about balance in the Force, folks, and Star Wars is a fantastic example of this, right? The Force isn't a line. The Force isn't a horseshoe. The Force is a circle, right? It's everywhere. It binds all living things. And the ultimate thing that defines life, folks, is a circle. All right? We live, we're born, we live, we procreate, and we die. And our procreation pushes that circle into the future, which turns it into a coil. All of humanity is built upon that premise. And every birth is a victory, and every death is a defeat. So when you look at it like that, folks, life versus death is a war. And it's a war life has been winning. For now, at least. But it doesn't take much for it to start losing. It's
and
just
much like Star Wars, I was going to say also, much like Star Wars, just remember, if you strike us down, we will return more powerful than you could ever imagine.
Yes.
Exactly. Not because of ourselves, but for those who come after. There's a reason. Yeah. There's a reason Exposition 33 constantly references that, for those who come after. Because that's how the history of humanity works. It's as simple as that. But yeah, I can't read that from here.
I can try and make it bigger. Is it coming up bigger on the screen? Oh, here we go. Undoubtedly proof Kids Act was paid for by over 120 major tech, telecom, and media companies. Files lobby occurred on a single bill, 2024, 2025. They're not...
Just stop there, Dash, right? That should tell us all we need to know. 120 major tech companies, major telecom companies.
All of them.
Major media companies, folks. Xeene is correct. I mean, they're literally throwing the kitchen sink at us, folks. They're throwing everything at this. Because there's a massive advantage in companies knowing all of their user base, right? If I knew, and my father asked me this, well, why don't you know everyone who watches your show, or everyone who watches your videos, that sort of thing? Because in his world, right, in his time, that's how it worked. The existing system knew how many people were watching televisions, or listening on the radio, or reading a newspaper. So with that research, they were able to, plan for the future, right? What sort of programming should we use? What sort of news headlines should we push, right? That's why tabloids became a massive success, because more and more people would read newspapers with sensational headlines and nice pictures of ladies with their tits out on page 3. That's why it was a thing, because it sold copies of newspapers.
But who doesn't love tits?
Well, you don't, because you're gay.
I do love tits, man tits.
Dirty bastard. But the point still stands. All the existing system wants, whether it's a government, the administrative bureaucracy, the corporate system, is to have what they had before, just in the digital realm, right? It's as simple as that. From their perspective, they're simply returning things to how they were before the age of the internet. And when did the internet really start taking off? The late 90s onwards.
Mm-hmm.
Except entertainment and media is shit now compared to 30 odd years ago. So, yeah, the landscape can change, but these people who are a lot older now, so you could argue that they're a lot smarter, but that's not how the world works, sadly. They just want what they had before. And we don't want it to be the way it is before, because let's face it, guys, a show like this would never be allowed on terrestrial television.
No.
Let's face it.
No, they'll shut it down immediately.
We'll be on the Cartoon Network, where the Digny cartoon character beats the shit out of one of the other characters, and we'll call it the Digny and Dash Show. Boom.
I think the best we could get is maybe a 3 o'clock spot on Adult Swim, and even that's a stretch.
Hey, Dash.
Yeah.
Make a clone of my body, because I got my head chopped off, Dash.
Oh, wait.
Digny. This ever happened before, Dickney? No, Dash. No, Dash. Just get me a new body.
Oh,
Go
I
to
see.
the
I thought you were
aliens
doing
ball.
Aqua Teen. You were actually doing Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm not very good with voices. But essentially, we'd have to become a sensationalist, edgy cartoon show. Imagine if this show is like Family Guy, right? And I'm like Peter Griffin. Who's going to be the Meg? I don't know.
Galaxy.
No.
No.
I guess
You
I'm
kind of
Chris.
treat Damien like. you
No,
kinda treat
everyone
Damien
else.
like-
I'm Peter, and everyone else is Meg. That'll be
Oh,
the
God.
show. But it
You
just goes
fart
to
on
show.
all of us.
Yeah,
Slay is definitely Stewie.
it just goes to show, though, guys. Right? Kosa is a means to an end, namely a means to our end, to the end of our industry, to the end of content creation, the end of live streaming as a professional business, an end to VTubers. VTubers won't exist under this new system. Just won't. Because it won't be Galaxy Red. It'll be, I don't know, Hank McGrew or whatever the fuck Galaxy's name is. I don't know. But he won't be his character anymore. None of us will. And it'll just decimate us.
And the worst
And it'll-
part is we're defenseless as cartoons. As cartoons, we can't physically fight back. It's like we're fighting the government in a fucking boxing match with wet pillows on our hands.
Yeah,
And
none
that's
of
why,
these
folks-
assholes. None of these assholes ran on this bill, but they're going to pass it.
Yeah. That's how you know it's coordinated. But once we're decimated and chucked out of the zeitgeist, that's when they'll come for the more prominent people. And yes, you saw, geeks and gamers sucking up to the president. I don't know if I can share my screen here, guys, but, it's not a good sign when one of the leading forces to make pop culture great again is sucking up to the same government that is screwing us over.
Well, I mean, Jeremy's been on Trump's dick for a while. Like,
True.
honestly.
And
The-
if
the
it was
thing
just
is-
him,
the thing is,
if
you
If you
guys
want to share a screen, press 8.
Sorry to interrupt you. The
Or
thing
the
is, like, you
button
guys
on
say
the
this
bottom.
as if it wasn't obvious from the get-go that these people had no principles. It's fine.
Yeah,
And
I have
yet
not
the-
watched Geeks and Gamers since, like, it's like, oh, Zack Snyder snubs them a little tiny bit, and then they take it so fucking personally.
I saw that show. God, it was a disaster. But Damien, not everyone has your 8 to 10 year foresight, right? I know from experience as a creator who's been doing this for 5 years, and as a viewer for years before that a lot of creators and a lot of coalitions fight for themselves and only for themselves to climb the greasy pole, right? I know that. You know that. Everyone here knows that. That's one thing. It's another thing to directly, ingratiate yourself with a government authority that is trying to push through a piece of legislation that will decimate your industry, right? It would be like a group of chickens or a group of turkeys, going to President Fox, right, in the Fox house to endorse a fox for president. It's the same mindset, right? But they think they'll survive in this new system because they're at the top of the tree, not knowing that a pyramid cannot survive on the top without the middle and the bottom. Simple. What's that noise?
Sounds like
Someone's
two people.
talking.
It's probably
Right.
on Damien's end.
Yeah, Damien's getting into an argument with his South African people.
No, I'm not. If you hear anyone, it's like I said, there's a lot of drunk people here right now. So unfortunately, you will hear a lot of loud,
Oh,
very
that's-
stereotypical.
Oh, I'd love to be in a room full of
Yeah.
drunk women. But
Yeah.
no. In all
Oh
seriousness,
no,
if I
he
can-
did.
Well, they're not women.
I didn't know you
Yeah.
were.
So, what exactly was happening with Trump and Geeks and Gamers?
Well,
Do they
I'll
have
share my
another?
screen.
Okay.
I'll just share my screen to provide some context. But this is one, folks, of it's not really direct. but
Well, technically, Trump wasn't there.
he wasn't. But an administration isn't just the leadership, right? Isn't just the leader.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I don't even know they even
So drunk
said who.
3POs with Rubio right now?
Well,
No, he was,
was
but
right.
he wasn't
That's
actually
why-
with him.
that's why
He
I'm
was
saying-
just there.
That's why I'm saying ingratiation, Galaxy, not collaboration. Those are two different things. The Geeks and Gamers organization are ingratiating themselves with the present administration, an administration that I think we can all agree has been utterly fucking disastrous since it's been elected.
Well,
Okay?
they were invited
for
though,
certain
so
Middle
what are they going to
Eastern
do? Just not go? I mean, they're not going to like they're not going to be like an asshole or something and go.
Yeah. So like, how did Jay get an invite to this like sort of thing?
As
Like,
part
It
of
wasn't
the-
just Jay. It was Jay, Ryan, Jeremy,
it was as part of the wider Geeks and Gamers organization.
they are being used. They are being fucking used. Trump knows nothing about these people.
I'll give you another example. It's some time ago, but it was a warning sign. When Jeremy,
do you
Jeremy
know
Griggs,
what it was about? But what they were going there for?
For goodness sake, Galaxy, it's nearly July 4th, right? Your background is the reason they went back there.
No,
they went there
actually
to celebrate.
No, they were there for that, but they were there with Marco Rubio, whatever. That was not part of that. It was something else.
Let me give you another example. When Jeremy Griggs and Ryan Cannell worked with Ben Shapiro over at the Daily Wire, this was some time ago. Now, how many people in our space are fans of Ben Shapiro?
None.
So it's more of an ingratiation tactic to build connections. Remember when the same Daily Wire blocked Brett Cooper from working with Cater? Because it was in her contract not to work with people outside the Daily Wire without Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring's direct input. Right? I know how the game is played, and I hope you're having a great party over there, Damien's family. I'd love to be there, but
No,
I don't have that kind of luck. Okay.
You wouldn't want to.
Why not?
They all whores and bitches.
Wow, I like whores and bitches. Right?
I suppose all straight.
And yeah, it's not to be like, I'm just saying, like, one of the things that did turn me off from Geeks and Gamers is when they just started like just becoming like political shills more than like they were fighting the culture war. And this behavior, like, it doesn't, like, like Trump, like Jeremy can not have a critical thought of Trump at all. Not one.
We also have to consider the fact, though, guys, that Trump term 1 is not the same as Trump term 2. Okay? Right? This administration, in almost every sense, whether it's politics, pop culture, foreign affairs, domestic affairs, has flat out failed. Flat out. And I can shoot off a couple of examples, one being the conflict in Iran, one being the cost of living crisis, another being the budget deficit getting larger and larger, one more being COSA, which is getting bipartisan support. The SAVE Act is fucking dead, right? I know Trump's trying his best to destroy birthright citizenship, but let's face facts, folks. Considering his record since he's gotten reelected, I don't have high hopes.
Oh, no. So it was actually supposed to pass. What it turns out that one of Trump's Supreme Court picks is a white woman that adopted black children. She's a race traitor.
Yeah, Haitians. No good comes from Haiti, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you that for a fact. Here's another one. I mean, the reason for the collaboration isn't the problem, right? The fact that this is happening is a sign. And I look at these signs, and I understand from a creator's perspective, what bigger connection can there be than the most powerful man in the most powerful administration in the world, right? In Donald Trump and the current administration in the United States. But if you look at America's political history, especially as we near 250 years of the U.S., backing one side or another for long, right? Imagine if Jeremy had backed Nixon. Imagine if there was social media in Nixon's era. Geeks and Gamers would have died after fucking Watergate happened. It's no good thing comes from sticking to one side or the other. That's why all these big companies, right? They back both sides. So it doesn't matter who wins, who loses. They're still on top of the tree, screwing over the American people.
It doesn't exactly help when they some make one side, like, was it not very long ago, like 10, 20 years ago, they made the Republicans were just completely garbage.
Yeah.
And then now the Democrats are completely garbage. So they are forcing people to choose one side.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like I'm like I'm as much as I've become like dissatisfied with politics, I'm still like never voting like for anyone who sides with the Democrats ever, just by association.
I'm sorry to hop on about the point, but I'm of the view that politics is the problem rather than the solution, because government and politics are not the same thing, right? This is as much a governmental decision, COSA, than it is a political one, right? Because it doesn't matter which political party gets elected. There is a civil service bureaucracy, a governmental system that Americans like to call the deep state, because they like boiling down terms to one or two syllables, that is in power indefinitely. And you can't get rid of them through elections because they're bureaucrats. That's why you got to cut the government out of your life, cut corporations out of your life. Whatever happened to of the people, by the people, for the people? Content creation is a living, breathing example of entertainment of the people, by the people, for the people. We don't rely on corporate handouts. We don't rely on corporate endorsements or government endorsements, right? If this administration came out and gave an endorsement for Geeks and Gamers, that would be an example of their organization being government backed. Now, I know that's not going to happen, right? Because no one's that overt in this day and age. That's why things are more subtle. That's why there are ingratiations rather than collaboration.
Well, I'm just thinking about Trump's like strategy. So you've all seen the AI memes and stuff, and like even during his second campaign, he was like talking to Logan Paul and shit. Like, he's trying to get in on the culture. And he's trying to invade like the leftist space, and him ingratiating Geeks and Gamers, I'm sure, is going to piss off like a lot of people at Disney and a lot.
Yeah. And I think one thing we have to understand about Donald Trump personally is that he's a very egocentric man. Always has been. Always will be, right?
Yep.
That's why the opposition compare him to Hitler a lot, because Hitler was also a very egocentric man. Be nice to him often enough, and you'll have him eating out of your hand, and whatever you recommend will be done. These things happen, right? That's why you have lobbying. That's why you have lobbyists to lobby government officials and, give them a nice sweetener to get your policy across, right? That's not of the people, by the people, for the people. That's not supporting life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It may be supporting their happiness, but it's not supporting the people's happiness. And you wonder why socialism is more appealing to Americans.
I just miss the Jeremy Griggs that say that like he just wanted politics out of pop culture.
Oh, remember those days? Those days are long gone. And they will never come back if this legislation is passed, right? Because in order to protect people online, the authorities will need to know who everyone is. So say goodbye to digital freedom, say goodbye to digital rights. The only way you'll be able to succeed as a creator will be to suck up to corporations and governments. So maybe Geeks and Gamers are getting ahead of the curve, right? Maybe. Good on them. Well, just don't bring Kada, right? Don't bring Kada.
Oh, Kada won't go down with that. Like Kada speaks his damn mind.
He does.
Yeah, I understand, because was it when I basically shit talk NIS America actually copyright claim to the streams I did it in.
What was that, Slay?
No, Xeene.
I see. Look, you all look the same to me.
You don't sound the same. How the heck are you?
Who did that to you again, Xeene?
NIS America, NISA.
They're a game company. They're the English branch of a Japanese game company.
Okay, I've went over this multiple times in other shows.
Hey, look, man, every time I hear Japanese, my instinct is to ignore it.
Yeah, but they're a
NIS is company. Japanese on NISA.
Yeah, NIS America is a American
Yeah.
branch of that company.
Why is this the first time I don't remember you bringing this up before?
Oh, because they make the Trail series.
Not
And
only
I've
they make it, they
seen,
publish.
They publish it over here in the West. That one also,
Oh.
and also the East games too. They both are those games.
Disgaea.
and Disgaea.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know what I think of the copyright system. I think the copyright system should be shredded. It's one of the few things the Chinese actually
Oh,
get
it
right.
is awful. I mean, I'm getting flagged on my Final Fantasy X just for the opening music.
It's ridiculous. And, you know, it's a sign of the times, right?
I'm not. This copywriting the portion. You can when the timestamp is let's literally me shit talking in Ice America.
Yeah. It's not a level playing field, Xeene, right? It's a big club and you ain't in it. Take it from someone who has the perspective of someone who was on the outside looking in, then got on the inside looking out, and now he's back on the outside looking in again, right? We're all getting screwed. Everyone on this panel is getting screwed. Everyone struggling to make a name for themselves and doing what they enjoy are getting screwed. The latest changes with Rumble are living, breathing proof of that. So it doesn't matter which platform you go, right? You want to make a name for yourself? Go on Kick and kill someone. Then you'll become a celebrity, all right? Don't literally do that, but that's what they do over there. They just do crazy stuff and become famous. Be like Ice Show Speed and jump over a Lamborghini. Eh?
Yeah, I mean, with me like to sue copyright. Now I actually understand why there have been 0 videos ever since NISA took control of the series. Because if anyone does say anything, they take their channel down.
And that's how it works. That's how these companies and governments will start doing that too. Authoritarian crackdowns. And once they know who you are, Xeene, and you still do it, well, then they're going to phone your employer. They're going to phone your
I'm
gas and electricity
self-employed.
company. Shut down his power. That's what they'll do.
I'm self-employed, as well as they can't shut down my power because that's also I'm a fist.
You're a what?
Xeene, you're muted.
I think it's they literally got him. They just cut off.
They got him.
All right, guys. I remember reading. It was some time ago, but there was a question posed in regards to the Obama administration when they were launching drone strikes against suspected terrorists abroad, and one of them was an American citizen, right? And you know how Americans are supposed to have due process, right? Well, they decided to airstrike him or drone strike him and kill him. Somewhere in Yemen, I think it was. Now, a question was posed to, I think it was the Attorney General of the time, right, in regards to whether or not that was legal. Because if an American is suspected of being a terrorist, they're supposed to be apprehended and go through the judicial process, right? Non-Americans who are suspected terrorists don't go through that process. That's why they drone strike them, right? Now,
Okay.
the question was posed, could that be done to American citizens within the mainland United States? And the Attorney General refused to answer that question. That suspected terrorists, suspected American citizens who could be terrorists, could be drone striked on American soil. He refused to answer, which implies that the U.S. government could be well within its right to just blow up someone's house with a drone if they're suspected to be a terrorist, right? What constitutes terrorism? Political violence. But it's not that far of a leap to go from violence offline to violence online. Remember what the opposition always talk about, right? Oh, words of violence.
Well, I mean, look what they tried to designate as terrorism during the Biden years. Like, everyone who was like critical of the administration was a potential right-wing terrorist.
Yeah. And as we've seen through previous examples, that not this administration, but the American government generally has authorized the use of deadly force against Americans abroad for being suspected terrorists. That's why the Attorney General of the time refused to answer. Because if he had said yes, there would have been an outrage, rightfully so. If he had said no, well, then that could have come back to haunt the authorities in the future. So that's why he refused to answer. The point is, though, folks, say this becomes law. Say COSA becomes law, and we oppose it. We're criminals. We want to protect our identity online. You're a criminal. You're a digital criminal. And if we oppose this piece of legislation and do what we can to undermine it and destroy it, well, that's a form of political violence. That's terrorism. That's digital terrorism. Now we can airstrike your house.
Xeene is back. I need to get him back on the panel.
Sure. But I'd really like to get panel perspectives on the Xeene. You alive?
Hey? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. They didn't get you, did they?
No, that was a restream. My mic didn't actually die. It was actually restream.
Oh, very suspicious platform. Just say you love Ukraine enough, and your systems will magically
I hate
work.
Ukraine.
Remember?
No! I can't hear Xeene. He's gone.
Remember, I think it was right before we started or something too. Like it had I had a disconnect issue or something, and it was like everyone froze. So I don't know. It didn't I was still able to move and talk, but everyone else
blame it on. We'll just blame it on technical difficulties.
No,
I kind of feel like it was restreamed though. So,
but the coronavirus crisis proved, guys, that nothing is beyond possibility at this point, right? I mean, there's not much of a difference between America and Australia. Look what the Australians did to their people during that crisis.
I can only imagine.
A crisis situation of any kind, whether it's war or famine or disease or a water shortage of some kind, that crisis situation gives the government the ability to suspend your rights, right? Because there's a war on, because there's a disease, a pandemic, or because there's a water shortage. And if people hoard all the water, well, people are going to die of thirst. That will be used as justification for you don't have freedom. You don't have rights. And if that emergency crisis is permanent, say because of an endless war or because they haven't found a cure for the disease, then they can permanently hold you under occupation, suspending your freedoms and your liberties, suspending your constitutional rights because it's a time of war or because we're fighting terrorists who oppose COSA. They don't want to protect kids, you see, so they want to destroy us and our freedoms and our rights. Because there's the doublethink aspect of this, right? They'll tell you they're protecting your rights while they're destroying your rights. I know this as a Brit. They do that all the time. They say, we love freedom of speech, we love freedom of expression, but not if it's hate speech, right? Remember that guy, Sam Molina, who got a few years in prison for putting stickers on lampposts? Remember that? You're not far away. You're not far away from that if COSA gets passed. It's as simple as that. But let's get panel perspectives, unless we have already.
No,
but,
we did, like when Cine was here, we did. We've just been like on this thing. We can go into the VTuber discussion if you want.
Go ahead, because that's also important. Because when it's not government or corporations shitting on the people, it's prominent people shitting on people.
Yep.
Fantastic, isn't it? This is the world we live in. Whenever you're ready, Dash.
Yeah, I'm getting it ready. Here we go. Yep, here it is. I got it.
Does the story involve women being idiots?
Yes.
My favorite kind.
Oh. GenVit AI users discover they aren't welcomed in the VTuber community. You only have less than 1,000 followers, my girl. Maybe if you weren't a bad person, people would like you. Oh, love how you're basing character based on the fact that she used fucking AI.
Hey, you can't say that, Dash. That might be a transgender man.
There are a lot of trans VTubers. I don't care. I really don't care. If you're gonna be awful to people, I'm gonna be awful to you.
I got a funny story, right? You remember Mama Rocco? Huh?
Yeah.
You guys remember? So when we collaborated with Mama Rocco some time ago, I was like, I've got to recommend this lovely brown lady to Atreus and Kada. Huh? Remember that? And then I recommended Mama Rocco to Atreus and Kada. And I thought, this lady, you're going to like this lady, guys. She's a great lady. And she's your type of gal. They collaborated with her and then realized, well, what did they realize?
That she's a guy.
Yeah. And that freaked Atreus the fuck out. I'll tell you this, folks. Atreus doesn't like it when people are not who they actually are, right? So whether it's Mama Rocco or Rev. You guys remember Rev says Desu?
Well, I mean, Rev is who he is. His character is just beyond feminine.
But it freaked Atreus out. And to this day, he still thinks Rev is a bit, bent. Because that's the kind of guy Atreus is, right? He's the kind of guy who takes people literally at face value.
Yeah, but at least he doesn't. At least Rev doesn't actually say he's a girl.
Well, I've heard him multiple times say that he just doesn't trust VTubers in general.
Exactly.
even when Lumi was on the show with them every week, he was like, I don't mind working with you, Lumi, but I don't trust you. I don't trust you.
Well, he knows how the game is played, though. If he alienated an entire group of creators just because he couldn't take them at face value, then Atreus wouldn't be where he is today. Let's face facts. But it's a great example of there are those within the pop culture space that naturally distrust people like us, right? I don't have a choice. I have to be like this, right? I mean, could you imagine if anyone else on this panel gets wiped out and they come back as themselves? I don't think that's going to work out too well for them, right?
But in this, I'll
just show my stomach on stream.
Roger rebranded back to Kai.
That was interesting. How about I put it that way, right?
Yeah.
Because the reason it was interesting, because Roger decided to abandon the Kai visage when Charlie Kirk got murdered. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Last September?
Yeah.
It was like a stand against the opposition. And then it hasn't even been a year. He decides to go back to Kai because it's more expedient to him, right? Which is well within his right, but it does send an interesting signal. Let's just put it that way. But in regards to this VTuber controversy, there is a cohort within our field who are just fucking crazy for the sake of it, right? Not in service of a greater cause, not because they want to bring people together, but because they're just batshit, hormonal, retarded people. That's what they are. Well, not all of the women, right? Because let's face facts, Damien, right? More men become women than women become men. So who's the more mentally deranged?
Well, women statistically anchor higher on mental illnesses.
Yeah, but let's put it this way. Women are attracted to men. You are also attracted to men. Does that make you crazy?
Occasionally.
See, look. Straight from the horse's mouth in this instance, right?
The only thing straight about me.
Exactly. But it's not surprising that these demented people go after other VTubers they consider controversial, right? They don't go after the most controversial. They go after the most relevant. They don't go after me because they can't make a name for themselves taking down me. But they could make a name for themselves if they take down the Leaflet or the Kershaw or the Rev, okay? Those people, because they're prominent people. And if they break them, then they can be known as the VTuber who took down the this problematic, evil individual. You gotta make a name.
This whole same thing
I
with like the
found,
fucking Mia.
I found a thing.
Oh, you did?
I already did.
All right, put it up. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right, where is it? Damien, where's the thing?
Damien.
What? Where's the what?
Oh, I thought you had something to share on the screen.
Sorry, I didn't have anything to say. Sorry, like I said.
Oh,
people
fuck
can talk to
you.
me.
Fuck you. I was waiting a solid minute for what you had coming up.
I'm so sorry.
Good God. Get on your knees. But no, in all seriousness, though, the point still stands. These people do what they do because they want to make a name for themselves, tearing down more prominent folks. It's as simple as that. You could argue that that's a cynical take. I've been doing this long enough to know that a great way to climb the greasy pole without getting on your knees, as I just said to Damien, is to be known as the creator who took down this person or took down that person. Most of the time it doesn't work, but in the rare instances that it does, it can really boost a person's reputation, especially if the creator they bring down or help to bring down is prominent and controversial. Just look at the lolcow people, the people who take down the lolcows and make a name for themselves, humiliating, problematic, egregious, yet prominent people, but pay tribute to them when they pass away, right? Like that King Cobra guy, right, who passed away because he drank himself to death. Everyone's like, oh no, poor King Cobra, he passed away. No, you only feel sorry for the fact he passed away because you can't milk the lol cow anymore because he's dead. Right? And the same logic applies here. That's why all these creators and these drama farmers tear each other to pieces, because they build an audience off of tearing people down instead of what we do, which is lift people up.
Well, that's how the mainstream media worked for forever before this. Like, look at how the paparazzi pretty much like destroyed so many people.
Princess Diana.
Yep. Princess
No,
Diana.
that was the royal family.
They had that South Park episode where the paparazzi were like taking pictures of Britney Spears.
Oh
until
yeah,
they killed her.
that was brutal. And then you found out that it was all a cult, and she was like, they were planning to destroy her life as a sacrifice this whole time.
Oh yeah.
And now the online space is almost mirroring that in a way.
Yeah, you're seeing the merging of the realms we talked about earlier, the merging of the physical and the digital world. And quite frankly, it's turning into the Jerry Springer show, right? Content creation is turning into the Jerry Springer show, right? Where it's all about sensationalism, getting a few cheap laughs, cheap thrills, that sort of thing. It's not about making pop culture great again. It's about making a name for myself, feathering my own nests, fighting for myself and only for myself, under the visage of making pop culture great again, right? People like Yorch Torch and JDA, they don't give a fuck. They'll just say, I'm in it for myself. You got a problem with that, I'm going to bully you until you go to the other side. JDA literally did that to a comic creator, and he was not held accountable for it.
Yeah,
and that's why creators, you can check him out on Mondays. That's why creators, when they get away with things, well, they raise the stakes. Of course they do, because they got away with it. And this VTuber situation is just an example. You use AI, we're gonna cancel you because you're a bigot. You're a bigot because you don't use our artists. It's just a means to an end to cancel people, to get rid of people you don't like.
There's some pretty funny replies to this. This is a meme, by the way. A lot of VTubers actually use this. I even took part in it. Just generate your avatar and hold up a sign that says, I'm evil because I use AI.
But let's face facts, folks. You're dealing with people who will happily talk to you in public and then dance when they shoot you in the neck. For example, Hassan Piker and Charlie Kirk. You guys see that? Hassan was dancing.
Oh yeah, I did see that. It's because they turned that AI song "We Are Charlie Kirk" into a meme. Leftists turned it into an ironic meme, and so like there's like hundreds of parodies of the song, like people dubbing it in Japanese and stuff. And it's like, and honestly, the song's actually pretty kind of good. Like it's generic as hell, but the tune is. I'm sure you've heard it before.
Oh yeah. It's a solid song, but let's face it, folks, when you propel something into the zeitgeist, it just has to be good enough to appeal to as many people as possible, right? I know creators who are very talented, who don't get the recognition they deserve, and I know creators, me being one of them for a time, who don't have any fucking talent, who somehow did well in the space. That has always been a thing. And in Hassan Piker's case, he's a textbook example, a talentless hack who got to where he is today because of who he knew, not what he knew. He knew Charlie Kirk. He worked with Charlie Kirk. He's now dancing on the grave of Charlie Kirk because that's how he can fight for himself and only for himself. And you see that with these people, too.
Yeah, I'm reading this dude, like, other VTubers are, like, hammering her, and this guy's like agreeing with her, and also brings up this whole environmental thing as if like me generating art of Dash is somehow like, killing like the wildlife because these corporations are building all these giant ass servers draining up the water. Like that's not my fucking fault.
Yeah. Using the whole, data centers destroy the planet argument.
Maybe there'd be more room for data centers if we weren't housing millions and millions of illegal fucking immigrants in this country.
Lol.
Well, even if you make that argument, Slay, even if we do send them all back, they have to be sent somewhere. And all the other countries have to say is, no, we're not taking them in. And by international law, you can't make people stateless. So this whole crusade of mass deportations, right? I'd deport all these VTubers for a start. Can't happen because they require the approval.
It says female on the on there, but the character on the profile is male. I don't get it.
So, lesbian.
Is that the one I called a furry VTard earlier?
I don't know.
But let's face facts, folks. Great things can only happen by breaking existing rules, right? No great thing ever happens by playing by the rules. The American Revolution is living, breathing proof of that dichotomy, guys. Nearly 250 years ago, the founders of the United States rose up against the greatest empire the world had ever seen. And they didn't play by the rules doing it. They resorted to guerrilla warfare. They resorted to any tactics and strategies needed to push out the British occupiers. They worked with the French, they worked with the Spanish. In some cases, they worked with the Native Americans and did whatever it took to free themselves. They didn't play by the rules. They didn't follow the international rules-based order of orderly conduct in warfare. No, they shot the red fucking coats, right? They didn't use Napoleonic warfare tactics. They used the same tactics as the Taliban did in Afghanistan. Guerrilla warfare, hide in the forest, hide in the mountains, and pick off people one by one. What I'm basically saying is, in relation to this topic, we're not going to be the change we want to see by playing by the rules.
Well, yeah, like if these people want to have like their own personal moral code, be my guest, but don't like hold people that everyone else is going to play by the same rules.
Exactly. Some of the most effective people in our space do not play by the rules. I'll just say that straight up. I know some of them. I've worked with some of them. They don't play by the rules. They do what they can within the boundaries that they can operate in, and they learn from the successes and the mistakes of others. But they don't play by the rules. This show doesn't play by the rules. We've never played by the rules in the past 40 weeks. I'm the main reason we don't play by the rules, but you get my drift. And we've done well, we've resonated with people, and we've all benefited from it. So if it can work here, it can work anywhere. It's just a matter of finding more people and building more pipelines to then find more people and build more pipelines and push you all into the ecosystem. Damien's living proof of that. Slay is, so's Galaxy and Xeene. And we thank Dash for being a vector for that.
Oh yeah, this has been like great, like bringing so many people in. Even got Neku streaming now.
Yeah, because we need more people. Because there will come a time, and I'm sorry to be a bit dark when I say this, Gary Buechler won't live forever, folks. He's gonna die one day.
Who's that?
Az isn't gonna live forever. He's gonna die one day. Geeks and gamers, folks like Jeremy and Ryan Cannell and that drunk 3PO, they're not gonna live forever. Even if they live for the next 30, 40 years. They'll need to be replaced one day. That's why we need more people to enter this space. And those people build their own power bases to bring even more people into this space while we still have time to do it.
Yep.
But what do you guys, as fellow VTubers, what do you make of people in our community going after one another?
Well, first of all, like I consider like Twitch VTubers like to be a completely different community. I'm pretty much outside the main VTuber space because it's quite frankly very toxic from what I understand.
Do you discriminate, Dash?
Do I discriminate? No. Like I like encouraging other VTubers. I just like I've seen like VTubers go after other VTubers and do this mean girls bullshit. And
but you just said you don't have anything in common with Twitch VTubers. You think?
Well, I just think that's just Twitch in general. I just think Twitch is a toxic platform because, like, you know, I just like because they're coddled. It's kind of like Reddit in a way. It's like the Reddit of streaming.
Yeah, I'm like, why? I rarely even like stream on Twitch. It's basically because literally, it's not like I get no one sewn up in the chat. I get quite a lot of people sewn up in chat. But the problem is,
what's the problem?
They're all. I'm like it's like I'm playing League of Legends all over again. They're nasty pieces of.
Oh dear, man.
Oh no.
Well, what about you, Galaxy? What do you make of VTubers going at each other?
Oh, I didn't.
I'm well, Xeene said he's not done.
Yeah, or me or them going at it. It's just human nature. We're going to go at each other no matter what. Some of us going to agree with each other more than others, but it's just they're trying to eat each other, trying to be the top dog.
Yeah. Well, for me, I guess it's I am pretty much like against that shit because it's just a waste of. I think it's just a waste of time and all that stuff anyway. But I don't really like. I don't care about the. We already get drama everywhere else, so we gotta get drama in that, right? So it's just they just wanted like but it's not like Dash said too. I don't care about the Twitch stuff either. So the thing mostly for me, you know, because I'm mostly just on Rumble anyway. So it's just that's even like less of a community for VTubers. So it's compared to the other places, but there are a lot of people actually are moving over to Rumble as a VTuber too. So it's like they're still going over there, even though Rumble technically doesn't really care about VTubers much. So
well, that's why just be careful on not streaming on the category of retro gaming. Yeah, then you get to see the actual ugliness of Rumble against VTubers.
That's why I put entertainment.
That's what I've been doing, though.
Right. But there's strength in numbers, guys, right? The only way Rumble will take our kind seriously is if we rage against the machine. They're not going to stand by us if we get on our knees and open our mouths, right? Right.
Yeah, that's fun.
Our tits aren't big enough for that to be a credible option. All right. Right. We can't suck up to the existing system. We have to rage against the machine, and then that will cause them to have some introspection. All right? That's why Cancel This Podcast is so effective on Rumble. Because there will come a stage where they can't ignore people like us, right? Even when they try to confront us. You were there, Galaxy. Remember when Ray entered the fray? Remember that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but for one thing, they did kind of like already like spoke and everything, and like cleared the air and everything. So it's not like they weren't really like being hostile to each other. Really, even though at first it kind of looked like it might have been, but that wasn't.
Well, thankfully, it didn't get to that stage.
Yeah.
But the fact that we had to stand up and make it clear there isn't a level playing field on Rumble, and there certainly isn't now with the changes to the creator program, right? Back then, my problem with it was the mandatory ad reads. Now my problem with it is that you guys have got to work twice, 3 times as hard just to get the same access. That's even more fucking egregious than mandatory ad reads, in my view.
Especially for me, at least for because I like stream like 5 times a week, and I still hardly barely get the metrics in the previous months. But now they're going. I do get them, but I like barely pass by. So now it's like, now you're gonna make it even worse. I mean,
that's why I am a radical, right? Because I know sucking up to these types of people aren't going to work, right? We got to gather, strengthen numbers, hang together, rage against the machine. You want Rumble to take VTubers seriously, right? Highlight the problem, find solutions, be the change you want to see. And if you want an inspiration, look over at Cancel This Podcast, right?
I'm like, if we want to actually get Rumble to actually care about us, we need a VTuber or VTubers more more than one, with almost like 3,000 plus follows. We don't have that at all on Rumble.
Why doesn't Kirsha go on Rumble?
She'd be perfect for it. I've said that. But
why doesn't Hypno?
That's another thing where they would offer her a contract, and then she would say, "Follow me on Twitch."
I'll tell you why for Hypno, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. Rumble screwed over Hypno about a couple of grand and was like, "Nope, fuck this. I'm not."
He does still multi-stream at SNH and stuff.
Yeah, but he's not.
So he doesn't do exclusive stuff at Rumble.
Even before the changes to the creator program, he decided to leave because Rumble screwed him over in terms of finances. Now, thankfully, Rumble did pay him back, so that's a good thing. But once you burn that bridge, you're not building it ever again, especially with a man like Hypno. So
that's probably why he's multi-streaming still then.
As a compromise.
Yeah, he probably would have stopped if he didn't do that. But yeah.
But if I think it was Xeene, yes, not Slay. I think it was Xeene that pointed out that you need this figurehead to lead the way. Well, if you want that in the VTuber space on Rumble, find a prominent YouTuber, get them fucking wiped out, and then you will get that happening, Xeene, right? I know it sounds awful. I know it sounds terrible, but it's a means to a successful end. Sometimes, in order to make things better where you are, you've got to make things worse somewhere else. That's why America keeps bombing foreign countries. But when you look at our space as VTubers, what we need is to bring people together. Because if you bring enough creators together, even if they fail separately, they can succeed together. I know Americans aren't going to like me saying this, but collectivism can work. Because it doesn't matter how strong, intelligent, or courageous an individual is, you ain't stopping thousands of people on your own, or tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of people. It doesn't matter how strong an individual is. Organized collective will always take you down.
It depends what kind of collectivism it is, though, because we have the collectivism that is like the one that you mentioned, and then there are the collectivists, like, we'll take, for example, this VTuber we're talking about saying our community, but our community, they're supposed to be we're the diverse and inclusive people, but when they say our community, that means you stay out if you're not part of that. There's more diversity of VTubers on this panel right now than there is in their community.
Absolutely. Like, it's the same thing with the Sonic fandom. You have all these people that want to gatekeep the Sonic fandom from people they think are like, ideologically impure, because how dare you enjoy the Blue Rodent video game.
Guys, when I think of Sonic fandom, my first thought is sex offenders.
Well, you're not wrong, like Chris Chan. Like it's the thing, but the thing is, like, it's so funny because that's essentially who, like, you know, the Sega is pandering to, is the Chris Chans of the Sonic fandom.
Mm-hmm.
Sex offenders. But I'll also make another point clear, right? In terms of organizing and building a solid collective, let's face facts, folks. You're going to need leadership. You're going to need people to lead the way. That's what Xeene hinted at. You need a unifying figure to bring people together. That unifying figure, whether you like it or not, becomes a leader. Whether they want to be or not is irrelevant. They become that because they're the most popular and everyone looks up to them. Look at Nerdrotic in the pop culture space. He didn't want to be a leader, right? And it's hard enough for him to manage his own ecosystem, especially being a recovering drug addict, right? It's difficult for him to maintain what he has built because you always want that hit, folks. You always want that drink, okay? There's no such thing as a completely recovered addict, whether it's alcoholism or drugs, right? That's why he doesn't really want to be a leader. But the reason he leads is because he's the most popular and everyone looks up to him because of what he's gone through. So the same applies in this situation. And whenever you get leaders, you've got the rulers and the ruled. The rulers tell the ruled what to do, whether they like it or not. And there are different types of leadership, whether you lead by example or you lead by telling people what they can and cannot do.
Yeah, I'm the latter. I'm the former. I'm the former. I try and, like, you know, help people, like, through just being myself. And but these people, they just want to dictate what their audience does, what other VTubers do, and I hate that.
I would also like to dictate.
I'm sure you would.
Well, if you were leading us, Damien, you'd be sampling all of us before the show went live.
My good
it's
sir,
funny. It's funny because it's true, right?
I would not be sampling. I would demand tribute.
See, look. P. Diddy, ladies and gentlemen. But the point still stands, right? Sometimes it takes bad people to make good things happen, right? I'm telling you for a fact, Alexander Hamilton was an awful human being, especially after the American Revolution came to an end. But without people like him, America would not exist.
Mm-hmm.
The same applies with content creation. Sometimes you need people in your ranks that you don't really like, but you know you need them to do the things you don't want to do. Like be controversial, or do nasty things to people to keep them in line, or to fend off the invaders trying to cancel you. Mm-hmm. That's why we have the CIA and the FBI, folks, the people who do the dirty work, the things you don't want to do. We need a CIA, folks. We need a VTuber Central Intelligence Agency.
Oh, that sounds like an awful, awful idea.
But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of awful ideas, let's talk about some of them with our future plans. How about we do that? Huh?
All right.
We'll start off with Dash. What are your future plans?
Yeah, so I'm probably not going to stream tomorrow. Depends what time I get back. I'm also thinking about just taking it easy tonight because I did have that long Final Fantasy X stream. And so, yeah, I think I'm just going to play some Ratchet and Clank on my PS3 and, grab some dinner.
The Ratchet and Clank Crack in Time?
No, the original. I'm playing the series in order.
Oh, the remake.
No, not the remake. The original. I got the HD collection.
Oh.
Physical copy.
Oh, I was thinking.
3 game.
I completely forgot about that one. I was thinking of either Crack in Time or the remake on PS3.
Yeah, I want to get through all of them because, I completely missed out on the series. I do have Rift Apart, though.
I played all of them.
Nice.
The remake was on PS4, though, not PS4.
Oh, it was PS4?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, anyway, those are my plans.
Good. Very good. How about you, Galaxy?
My future plans is hopefully getting Breath of Fire 2 done tomorrow. So I just gotta get. I'm like right at the end of the dungeon on the last dungeon. So
You
it's
still
probably,
haven't finished that game?
Oh,
well,
Breath
I
of
was
Fire 1 took me forever to complete.
well. Breath of Fire 1 is actually shorter than 2.
What? Oh, God. Don't tell me that.
Yeah, Breath of Fire 2 is worse than 1.
Ah!
Yeah.
Jesus
Calm
Christ.
down, Dash. It's not
Not Galaxy. You all look the same to me. You all sound the same too, right? Dash.
They
Right.
don't sound the same.
Is this the sound you make when you're pleasuring someone?
What?
I I'd be like,
That would be an interesting thing for a Kosa to find out about you, wouldn't it? But Galaxy, please continue, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, once I finish that, the next time I will be actually playing Breath of Fire 3, which would be next Saturday. But also I'm changing up a little bit of my schedule coming next week because like I already mentioned about the creator program and Rumble and all that stuff, I'm not gonna be able to get through everything anyway. So overworking myself for 5 days a week for nothing pretty much now. So I'm probably just gonna move my my schedule back down to 4 days a week. So so I'm going to be doing Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday only. So that's the plan for next week and for the rest of the time, for the rest of my streams. And then sometime July, I haven't decided when, because I'm still waiting for. I'm actually waiting for a message from the Blaze.stream website, which because I need to change my name on there because I get my name is Galaxy Red and I can't use Galactic Gaming then over there because it is 18 characters and they only allow 5 to 15 characters for the names, which is stupid. But so I can't use the full name. So I had to. I'm waiting and see. I can try to get them to help me rename it to actually be the name I want it to be. So, but then when that happens, I'm going to be doing multi streaming to that and Kick as well along with Rumble. So,
well, best of luck to you in that regard, Galaxy, and hopefully you can get your full name on Blaze. And I look forward to you being on Glenn Beck's show. But yeah. Well, that's what happens when you name your social or video sharing or live streaming platform after Glenn Beck's company. But how about you, Xeene? What are your future plans?
Well, I'm just going just keep doing what I'm doing because hey.
Oh, whoa!
What is going on there?
Sorry,
that was Davian.
Damien is looking for his dildo.
Sorry.
He's looking for his dildo.
No, my mic just fell.
Yeah, okay,
Silly boy.
Even with the Rumble changes and all, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. No changes. Also, hey, I guess future plans is like Wednesdays later in the day. After the 10th will be there'll be Powell 1.0 with. You want me to say?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's not gonna. We're not doing it until the Wednesday. Not the Wednesday coming up, the Wednesday after. So.
Yeah, the Wednesday after. I mean that.
We're gonna be doing Powell.
The 15th.
Oh, is 1.1 coming out?
On the 10th.
Yeah, 1.0 comes out on the 10th. We're gonna be collabs on Wednesdays. The Wednesday after.
Oh, can I join for that? I could probably join.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, I know I am at the moment. I'm only going to be doing Rumble and everything, but I mean, I don't know who else is actually going to be playing besides me and Xeene and you, I guess. But
I mean, I have a earlier stream with 2 others.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, we'll see. I definitely do want to try the new update because it looks amazing.
Yeah, they're definitely adding a lot of stuff. I haven't even played it before, so I got it, but I've never actually played it. So I was waiting until 1.0 comes out. I'm like,
yeah,
it's already coming out soon, so I might as well just wait. So
yeah. Also, it's the fact that it's the devs know their game. They're not going to put in stuff that will break their game. Like people ask for, underwater. It's like, no, that's not within the scope of the game. That is one perfect thing I heard from them. I'm like, yes, you can't just throw in stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
also copying Pokemon because they just did the underwater update on their game.
Most likely, and they're going to save the underwater thing for Powell 2 or something
Or-
of a larger
yeah.
scope of a.
Oh man, if they get a Power World 2, like that's a long ways off.
Yeah.
It will
The first
be.
game's just coming out basically now officially. So it's just,
So when did Power World originally release?
about
I-
2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, like 2
It's
to
about
3 years ago.
Yeah, about 2 years ago. Yeah.
So
It was back when I was in my old apartment.
It was when they had it come out early access pretty much, and now it's coming out fully.
Well, expect Power World 2 in 2030.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Best of luck to you. Hopefully Nintendo will be out of business by then. So thank you, Xeene. Best of luck to you. Slay, future plans.
All right. So you can catch me streaming on YouTube and Rumble 4 days a week. I also release videos, gameplay clips, shorts, music videos, poetry, all kinds of shit. Tonight, you will be able to find me on Rumble on Toasty with the Mosty 6969's channel for the party panel Friday. As for tomorrow, for the 4th, I'm taking it off. But on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, I will be throwing for the Skullcast Summer Concert Series a Save Physical Gaming like an awareness concert type thing, and I'm working behind the scenes with Mr. Nobody. We're trying to come up with like a cool petition idea, but something that will be better than a petition, something that will actually get noticed by the company rather than just, oh, all these people are pissed off, let's ignore it.
That sounds awesome, man.
Well, thank you for that, Slay. Hopefully it does well.
Thank you.
Fingers crossed your collaboration with Mr. Nobody goes well. I like how that name for him has taken off when that's not actually his name. It's Nobody Has Spoken. There's actually a creator out there called Mr. Nobody.
Yeah.
Well, it's also the name of a DC villain.
Yeah, I got a little confused. Like, wait a second, isn't his name like what you said? Not
Yeah,
Mr. Nobody.
Yeah, but nobody calls him that because he's Mr. Nobody. You see? Haha. That's the power of what I call information quarantine, Xeene. If you say a certain thing often enough in the zeitgeist, people will literally pick it up. Like Slay, for example. Damien, speaking of picking things up, Damien, what are you going to pick up for your future plans?
I need to find new games to play on my Steam since I finished Dark Souls. And then I'll be making a video on Asmongold and Maximilian because the two of them both decided to be idiots.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to see that. Don't definitely send me the clip of Max blaming Trump for PlayStation's stupidity.
I'll do that.
Nice.
Yeah, go and check out everyone's channels, folks. Damien's only 4 subs away from 150 on YouTube. Check out Galaxy and Xeene on Rumble. Of course, Slay is on YouTube and Rumble. You're here, so you might as well be subbing to Dash, okay?
Yep, links are in the YouTube description.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys
also on YouTube and Twitch. I mean, I may not do it every day like I do or stream on Rumble.
And you guys know where to find me. Here's what I'll do, folks, right? Here's an interesting idea for the future of the network, considering my future plans. I'll take a look at what videos, say, Damien made about Asmongold's bad take on Stellar Blade Blood Rain, and then I'll make a video titled Asmongold Exposed for Stellar Blade 2 Hypocrisy, right? And see how well or badly it does. Right? And that's just one example.
I mean, it's an experiment.
Yeah, I think it's great to experiment and take concepts that have worked well for others and see if they can work well for the network as a whole, because that's a great way of proving algorithmic suppression, right? it works for you, but it doesn't work for me. So, in regards to my future plans, folks, more videos, more shows, more videos from said shows. I've got about 17 videos to make over the course of the weekend. Yes, it sounds like a lot, but once I get resupplied with food and drink, especially cola, I'll be drugged up enough to make lots of content, right? And it is, right? Drinking soft drinks is like sticking cocaine in your mouth. It's that bad. Kids, don't have soda. All right?
All right. Happy 4th of July, everyone.
Yep.
And
happy-
bye.
Yeah, happy